This is breaking news.
Howard Benson answers the age-old question, what the hell does a music producer do? Producer Howard Benson used to be an aerospace engineer. He was also in a band. We were probably like the worst band in LA, he tells me from his studio in Los Angeles. But I learned a lot about being the worst band in LA. Ironically, someone even called his band unproduceable. But being in the studio made him realize that though he may not have a future as a musician, he might have one as a producer. It fit my whole worldview, the technical part of it and the musical background. He started working at Sunset Sound after his shift at Garrett Aerosearch, learning the ins and outs of producing. I was starting to work for free at the time, he says. You had to get free studio time back then. And I would work my day engineering from 7 o'clock a.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. down in Torrance at the company Garrett. And then I'd drive up to Hollywood and work for free in the studios. And I knew someone who was a second engineer, so I would work from 6 o'clock p.m. to 6 o'clock a.m. He discovered a punk band called TSOL that had an unfinished album. Benson offered to help them finish it as his first production project at Sunset Sound. After 4 years, he quit his job at Garrett and decided to give producing full-time a shot. Benson set up a small studio in his house and took on his second band, Jack Mack and the Heart Attack, and eventually a few others like Bang Tango and Pretty Boy Floyd. These are sort of local bands, and nobody knew who they were, but they were willing to give little old me a chance, he says. Though the records didn't sell well, the work gave him the experience he needed to take on bigger bands. I was honing my craft, he says. I met some really key people along the way that I was smart enough to listen to, like Keith Olsen, who was a great producer back then and mentored me through some difficult moments in the studio. Benson went on to produce Motorhead, Body Count, Kelly Clarkson, Hailstorm, My Chemical Romance, and Bon Jovi, among other artists. He's also won 2 Grammys. I chatted with Benson about a lot of things. But the main question I had in my mind was, what the hell does a record producer actually do? Can you walk me through the production process of a song? In other words, what does a producer do? When I mentor a new person, I say the word producer. Just look at the word. It means to produce. It means to deliver the record. It means here's the record, finished, hand it in. That's your job. You're getting paid a lot of money to do that job. You have to go through a lot of barriers. You have to go through a lot of personalities. You have to go through redos. The record company is going to have their comments. The artist is going to have their comments. The lawyers, the managers, they're all going to have something to say. Your job is to get it done. And it's a hard job finishing these things. It's really fun up until the last red zone of a project. Then trying to get the ball over the goal line. That's the hard part. Nobody ever wants to finish these things. It's like, oh wait, it's not done. It's not perfect. You have to be the one to say to them, hey, this is it. We got it. How you get that across, that's a talent. It's completely different from if I'm producing Kelly Clarkson and if I'm producing My Chemical Romance. They're completely different projects. With a Kelly record, the material is found by the A&R staff. I'm not even that involved at that point. My job was basically to take the arrangements, get her vocal on it, then come back to my studio here, rearrange the song, and start adding layers to it. Now, if it's My Chemical Romance, it's a collaborative effort. We'll go in and we'll rehearse, and we'll kind of go through the material. And I'll say, you know, this lyric is good. That lyric isn't good. Maybe you should rewrite a second verse. On that project, we were trying to hunt for hooks and things like that. And then we'll go in the studio, and everybody will play their parts, and we'll do it together. Then we'll overdub a part on it. So you're just basically the 5th member of the band.